The day I had the stroke was a Thursday night, and I had numbness, I had a little bit of uncoordination. I'm a type 1 diabetic, so I thought it was more of a low blood sugar. Did a blood test, nope, blood sugar was fine. So I sat down for a while, had some food, didn't get any better about an hour later. So at that point, the wife started to get concerned, and my wife said, hey, we should go to the hospital. And I adamantly waved her off, no, we should not go to the hospital, no way. Went to sleep that night, which was incredibly foolish. And the next morning, I had facial droop, right arm had no strength, couldn't raise it. And my wife called 911, and off to the hospital we went. I went through bubble tests for my heart, I went through CT, MRAs, and as we learned the prognosis of me having a stroke, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I'm 34 years old. How could I possibly have a stroke? So that first weekend, it was, what's going to happen to the wife and kids? What's going to happen to my house? Am I going to lose my job? So I immediately began to panic. I got some PT and speech therapy in the hospital that weekend. And at that point, it was decided I needed to go to an acute care facility for rehab. And thankfully, Gaylord had a bed opening, and I went the next day. When I first came to Gaylord, I was filled with anger, and I'm thankful for my therapist because they found a way to channel that anger into constructive energy. So I didn't just sit there in my room and stew all night. I sat there with my room and did hand exercises, did leg exercises, did speech till I was blue in the face. And I would come in the next day and I would have impressed them that I was able to do this, and they would up the bar. And they just kept raising the bar every day because they saw that there was this passion in me to get back to who I was. One of the things that affected me with the stroke was my ability to care for my 1-year-old daughter. And the thoughts of not being able to be a full-time parent, leaving my wife to be a single parent with a newborn, was pretty traumatic. And one of my goals was to recover enough to get the strength back enough to be able to pull my weight. And it took the therapist here coaching me through it. And I did some practice runs, of holding a baby in PT, or OT, which is kind of funny at the time, but I was able to thankfully regain that ability and strengthen my arm to hold my daughter successfully. I had a lot of aha moments, and I was like, wow. Once I got to see 1 or 2 of those, I began to say, hey, you know what, this is actually working. So while I may think it's silly or dumb, I'm actually gonna play ball and do this. My last session of PT, they had me running. They said, have you tried running yet? I was like, what are you, nuts? No, I haven't tried running yet. I had a stroke 2 weeks ago. They're like, well, why don't you try? It may have been a horse galloping, but I ran down the gym. It felt unnatural, but I did it. I was impressed and amazed by how many people dedicate themselves to this field, and that they all have the same upbeat, relentless, positive attitude, that you will overcome this, you will make progress. It's our job to help you, and we'll get there together. I am thankful every day for my wife choosing to have us come to Gaylord for my inpatient and outpatient care. The level of care, the standard of care was second to none, and I think it's unmatched by any facility in the area. Wheeling into Gaylord, I was a type A driven, do or die for my job, and my work-life balance was pretty skewed in the wrong way. Having gone through rehab and the tremendous care at Gaylord helped me realize my family is what matters most. Gaylord helped me think possible by realizing that anything can be accomplished through hard work. Whether it's incremental gains day after day or one monumentous change, anything is possible.